we're setting up the Super Chief Xtra starter set, in this case the 5 amp duplex radio starter set. We start by unpacking the box and making sure that we have all of the items that are supposed to be in the box. After you've opened the box, you should find the LT1 decoder and local net cable tester. This is a very valuable piece of equipment that you will use down the road in diagnosing problems with your decoders and with your layout. In this case, we have the UR92 duplex radio transceiver. We have our DT402 duplex radio throttle. We have our DCS 100 5 amp command station booster. We have our PS14 power supply that will be used to power the UR92 transceiver. We have a local net cable, which is a flat 6-wire telephone cable that we will use to communicate from the DCS 100 to our UR92. We have our Super Chief Xtra Super Premium Digitrax Complete Train Control Starter Set Manual. There's a lot of information in this manual, and it's indexed in such a way that you should be able to find anything that you need fairly quickly. And you have the mobile decoder manual. The mobile decoder manual will be used once you get familiar with the system, start installing decoders and programming decoders. You will notice that the system does not come with a power supply. You will need to get your own power supply. You can use the Digitrax PS514 universal power supply, or you may use any good 12 to 18 volt AC or DC power supply that will give you approximately 5 amps of current. The first thing that we're going to do to set up our system is that we're going to make sure that the scale toggle switch is either in the N scale or HO setting. I prefer the N scale to begin with. And the mode toggle switch is set to run. The next thing we're going to do is to connect our power supply. Today we're using a power supply that is a 5 amp supply that is putting out approximately 18 volts without a load, and it is an AC unit. We're going to attach our power supply to our power in and power in terminals on the gray terminal plug on the front of the DCS 100. To do that, I have stripped back the insulation on the 2 wires coming from the power supply. I'm going to insert them both into power in and power in. It doesn't matter which wire goes to which terminal. Either will work. And I tighten the screws on the 2 terminals. When you plug your power supply in, you will hear one beep. You will notice your config light blinking approximately 8 times. Your net light will come on solid. You will also see your power on light, and that will come on solid and should be solid. Presently, you will also see that your offline red LED below your two toggle switches is on, indicating that we do not have track power yet. Next, we're going to take our DT402D throttle and we're going to plug it into the DCS 100. Either LocalNet port A or B will do, either one. We take our plug at the end of our cord on the DT402D and we're going to plug it into the DCS 100, and you will notice that you now have a display on your DT402 throttle. In this case, you see in bold letters SP, and on the left and right SEL and FN in the center. Now, the next thing we're going to do is to turn on our track power. To do that, we press the power key marked PWR in the lower left part of the keypad on the DT402D. You will then see the words plus on, minus off in the display. When you see that, to turn track power on, you simply go up and you quickly press the Y plus key. When you do that, you will see two things happen. You will see the orange track status light in the bottom center of the DCS 100 come on, and you will see a small black dot in the upper right part of the DT402D display. That small black dot should be on solid, not blinking. If it is blinking, as it is right now, you will have power to the track, but you will not be able to run trains. You will be in what we call pause mode. To get out of pause mode, make sure the words plus on, minus off are in the display. Press the Y plus key quickly. You will notice that the little dot has toggled from blinking to solid. In order to get rid of the plus on, minus off, you can simply do something such as pressing the loco key, or you can press the power key. In order to turn track status off, or power to the track off, you simply press the power key, get the words plus on, minus off in the display, and press the minus key. You will see the small black dot go off of the display, and you will see the track status LED go dark, with the offline LED coming back on. To select a locomotive address using the DT402D, we press the power key to get the words plus off, or plus on, minus off from the display. We notice that our little black dot is on solid, and we press the loco key. You will then see a number flashing, in this case over on the left-hand throttle, indicating that we can now change that particular number to the address of the locomotive we want to select. Since most of our decoders in DCC come at the factory default address of 03, we can take our right-hand throttle knob and turn clockwise until we get to 03. You will notice that when we get to the address that we want, you will see stat 128 in the display. This indicates that that address is going to be controlled by the DCS 100 at 128 speed steps. In order to select that address now, we simply press the enter key, and notice that the address number goes solid, in this case 03. That means that you can now control locomotive 03, or a locomotive with the decoder addressed at 03, on the left-hand throttle. Turning the throttle clockwise, you notice that our numbers are increasing. Those numbers will increase to a maximum of 99 indicating 99% of the power available to the decoder in the locomotive. You will also notice that there is a line graph at the top that increases or decreases with the numbers. Okay, so we're now at 0 speed on address 3 on the left-hand throttle. Also notice that we have a small locomotive and a small arrow under the locomotive. That small arrow is telling you that that decoder is going to be prompted to run forward as far as that locomotive is concerned. To make that locomotive run in reverse, we can either press the small key with the arrow at the bottom, and notice that our arrow has now gone to facing the rear of the small blinking locomotive. You can also change the address by pressing down on our throttle knob twice, quickly. Notice that the small arrow is now facing the front of the locomotive, indicating that that locomotive will be told to run in the forward direction as far as its forward is concerned. With this throttle, you can run 2 locomotives at the same time because you have a left throttle and a right throttle. We have address 03 on the left-hand throttle, so we're going to activate the right-hand throttle by turning it counterclockwise slightly. We're then going to press the loco key to get that number flashing below it, and then we're going to say give this address 300. The right-hand throttle knob will give you teens and ones. The left-hand throttle knob will give you hundreds. So we've turned the left-hand throttle knob twice. We now have 300 in the display. It's going to be run at 128 speed steps, and we simply press the enter key. You can also press the loco key to do the same thing the enter key did in this instance. Then you simply turn the right-hand throttle knob to run the locomotive number 300. And again, it will go up number-wise to 99 maximum, and the bar graph will be following the progression of the numbers. Next, we're going to connect the DCS 100 to the track on the layout. To do that, we're going to connect our 2 wires coming from the layout to rail A and rail B outputs. Before we do that, we're going to turn our track power off by pressing the power key on the throttle, again getting the words plus on minus off in the display, and pressing the N minus key. Now that we have our track power off, we can insert our wires into rail A and rail B. Tighten your screws onto the bare metal wire. Then we can turn our track power on by pressing the power key and then pressing the Y plus key. You will notice that our offline light went off, our track status light came on. If, when you press the Y plus key in this situation, the track status light does not come on and the offline light does not go off, you probably have a short on the layout that needs to be cleared before you can turn your track power back on. The next thing we're going to do now is to connect our separate program track to the DCS 100 so that we may program locomotive decoders to different addresses. To do that, again, we're going to turn our track power off by pressing the power key, getting the words on off in the display, and pressing the minus key. We will notice again that our track status light went off and our offline light is on. We will then connect our 2 wires to the track our program track to program A and program B outputs. We loosen our screws, take our two wires, place them in the program A and program B outputs, tighten our screws down onto the bare metal part of the wire, and we are now ready to both run trains on the layout connected to rail A and rail B, and to program decoders on our program track connected to program A and program B. The next thing we're going to do with this particular system is to connect our universal UR92 receiver so that we can run our system using our radio throttle. To do that, we're going to use our LocoNet cable that we have taken out of the package. You will notice that as we stretch this cable out, each plug has a little tab on the top. A proper LocoNet cable will have the plug on one end with the tab on the top, and as it's stretched out, the tab will be on the bottom on the other end. That is a proper LocoNet cable. We take our cable, we plug it into either LocoNet A or LocoNet B on our DCS 100, and then we plug it into one of the two plugs on the back of the UR92. You will now notice that the green light on the UR92 is on, indicating it has power. We also use the supplied PS14 power supply to give additional power to the UR92 by plugging it into the side and the other end into a wall outlet. The only other thing you need to do to have radio working with this system now is to remove the battery cover, and the best way to do that is to simply slide the cover straight back. Do not bend it up as you're trying to take it off. Again, slide the cover straight back, and you will never break those two prongs on the battery cover. Now that we have the battery cover off, we are going to insert a good 9-volt battery with the negative side up. You will notice that inside the battery compartment you have a plus and a minus. The plus will go toward the end, the minus will go up. Simply lay it in, snap it down, take your cover, slide it straight on. You are now ready to go. Initially, all you will have to do is to plug into your UR92, and you will get a good display. After you've plugged in for the first time, you can unplug and then you can select your locomotives. This should give you a good start in having some fun running trains with your new Super Chief Xtra duplex radio starter set.